Hi everyone, I'm Shauna and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my clothing inventory. I have been talking about the fact that this video is coming for a few weeks now, and it's finally here because we are basically at the end of March. It's March 27th when I'm filming this, so I think it will go up in 2 days. We're not totally at the end of the month, but we're close enough. And I have been tracking my clothing use, and I've also cataloged my clothing. So I've been tracking my use since January. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how many pieces of clothing I have and how many times I've worn each of these pieces. And I'm also going to be giving you some stats and figures, and then talking about my feelings towards exercise and my clothing in general. So what I have done is listed out each piece per category. So some categories aren't listed, like exercise clothing, and I also have not included the wears for clothing that I have worn in videos. To me, those don't really count as a wear because I'm putting them on for half an hour to film something, and I can most of the time put those back into the drawer once I'm done. And I'm really wanting to capture the things I wear every day. And even I have a couple of special occasion pieces in here, things that like were not initially listed, but I added them to the extras. And this exercise was so useful, but we will talk about that in a bit later. The first category that I have are sweaters. And in this category, these are all casual sweaters, like pullover kind of fleecy sweaters. You probably have seen a few of these in my videos. I have one, like a black hoodie that I wore for the Will I Buy It video. I also have this blue Love sweater that I think I wore early on in a video. Things like those kinds. Oh, and I also, I think it was my last video, was like that black speckled pullover sweater, which was also in that like little capsule I did. And then this sweater was also in that capsule video that I did. So none of those clothes that I wore for there were considered a wear. For these sweaters, I house these all in basically one drawer, and I have 12. And it doesn't feel like a lot because I wear these all the time, and the numbers don't lie because these sweaters are my most worn pieces in my whole wardrobe. The sweater that I have the most wear out of is actually that black hoodie that I wore in the Will I Buy It video with like red lipstick. I wore it 9 times, and then the second highest would be, there's 2 for second place, would be this Everlane green sweater. It's their like Renew fleece. And then the speckled Franken Oak sweater that I wore in my Cosbox unboxing video, and that was also featured in the capsule wardrobe. And I wore those 7 times each. And then the next highest would be that blue Love sweater I was talking to you about, which was with 6 wears. The gray Franken Oak was with 6 wears, and then this Old Navy quarter zip with 6 wears as well. If we just think about those few pieces, so half of those pieces I wore over 6 times each. And then there's a couple that I just wore like 2 or 3 times. These are really mostly seasonality issues, things that I thought that I would wear in this time of year, but are actually not warm enough to really sustain me throughout most of the winter. And they're things that I'm now getting more use out of. There are a couple pieces like this sweater, and I also have a black one of these, which I did also wear in an earlier video, that only have 2 to 3 wears each, but I actually wear these to ballet. Most weeks it's usually this one or the black one. To me, they look nice with leggings, and I've kind of found that functionality there. And these are actually, because they're not that warm, like these are really light, they're called the Airy Desert sweater. So these are more of like a spring fall piece, and I kind of expect more wear out of these in the spring because I got these, I think it was either last spring or summer, and I wore these so much. They were the first pieces that I would go for. And if they were in the wash, it was always like, you know, like bummer. And that's how I feel about some of these other pieces. Like the black hoodie and the Franken Oak speckle sweater are my favorite pieces. And it really shows that in the wear. In the wears, I would always go for these pieces first. And so in this section, there are actually no unworn pieces. So I use 100% of these sweaters. The next category are like sweatpants, joggers, lounge pants, and I have 7 of these. So my most worn pieces are this black with like a striped pant, and then these black fuzzy pants from Aerie, and I wore these 14 times each. So if you put these two together, it's a month's worth of wear just in those pants alone. And I'm actually a bit surprised that the fuzzy ones went out, because if you were to ask me like, hey Shauna, what are your favorite pants? I would probably say the Aritzia Nickelby pant. I think they're from Sunday Best. I have them in 2 colors. And then I would probably say a second would be the black with the stripe. But when I'm looking at the wears and I'm thinking about it, I realize that the shape of those black with the stripes are pretty flattering, and that like they're slightly warmer than the Nickelby pants. But I think that they add a bit of, I mean, they just like they have a stripe. Like that's it. They just have a stripe. But I think that it just adds a little bit of something to an outfit, because everything else that I have is plain. Like they're all plain colors. The second highest are the black Aritzia pants with 11 wears, and the white sweatpants that are the same as the black version. Those have 11 wears as well. And then the blue Aritzia has 10 wears. That is the most surprising, because when I'm looking back at it, those pants are a bit strange, because the waist of the pants doesn't match a traditional waistline. So usually, like if you're gonna say, oh, I'm wearing like a 28 waist, or buying like a small for like a track pant or something, or a medium, it's gonna usually align with your equivalent in like a jean or something. But these pants, the waistband is much larger. So I think I ordered a small, and the waistband looks to be about an extra large. But the purpose of these is to like cinch them in. And so I didn't know that when I bought them, but I kept them anyways, and I got them in 2 colors. I would not have repurchased the white one, and I was thinking like, am I really wearing this? But turns out I am. And I think perhaps that wear is so high, because like I would go through my favorite ones, then it's like, okay, well these are totally wearable, so I'll put these on next. And there's only one pant in this section that has no wears, and those are my gray Puma pants. I didn't realize that I didn't like those pants until I did this. And so I'm really thinking about decluttering them, but I'm also thinking of keeping them, because I've moved them into my like athletic drawer as like an athletic pant, maybe like if I want to go hiking, or like wear them to the gym if I was doing upper body day or something. So I'm gonna keep those there for now, and if I don't wear them, then I'll remove them. And then I have this pair of pants by Community. They are like a utility kind of pant. They're black, and I wore those twice. And to me, that wear makes a lot of sense, and I should remove those from my winter wardrobe, because they're too light to wear regularly. I'm not gonna wear them, and it really shows. That's not something I thought about until I did this, but those are not a winter piece. Okay, next up are jeans, and I have 6 pairs, but I actually removed 2 pairs pretty early on. So I had a American Eagle ripped pair of jeans, like they're black, and then an American Eagle like medium wash jean. I thought that I would wear those in the winter, because I had previously removed my lightest wash, but I don't really like that wash in the winter, and I didn't know that until I did this. So I removed those, but I counted them initially because they were in for a long time, and I didn't remove them until like more than halfway through this like tracking experience. So those are still tallied. I wore my American Eagle dark wash jeans 9 times, and my American Eagle black jeans 4 times, a straight leg pair 1 time, and then another black pair from Old Navy one time. To me, it really shows which black pair is my favorite. And so I don't have a ton of wears on these pants because I generally only wear jeans like if I'm going out like on a date or to school. So I was a little surprised that I didn't wear jeans as much as I thought that I did. Yeah, so there's only 2 unworn items in this section. Next up are t-shirts, and I have 11. And if you were to ask me in December, do you wear t-shirts in the winter? I would have told you no. But t-shirts are such an essential layering piece for me, more so than I realized. 4 of these shirts are these airy shirts. They are, they have a ribbed, they're ribbed. I wore the gray one of these in my styling video. So I have a rust, a green, a gray, and then a long sleeve gray, so 4. And then I have 3 ASOS t-shirts. They came in a pack, a black, a white, and a gray. And then I have a blue sweater, blue t-shirt that's by this brand called Twick from Simon's. I wore it once. And then I also have this striped American Eagle t-shirt. It's a gray and white stripe. I'm wearing it now. You can't really see. Anyways, it's a different fit than the airy ones. And that one I bought secondhand. So the highest wear here is 7. That was the green ribbed t-shirt. And then the second highest would be the gray. So there's 3 unworn t-shirts in here. The ASOS white, the Frank and Oak green t-shirt, and then the Dynamite white graphic tee. The graphic tee was in the capsule wardrobe video as well. This makes sense to me only when I look at the numbers. And these are a reason to remove these shirts, because when I'm wearing t-shirts in the wintertime, like they're strictly layering. I just need like a body, you know, I just need something. And it almost doesn't even matter what it is because I just need the extra layer of warmth. And so those 3 shirts that I wore, and even like the black one, I only wore twice. Not a lot of wear on that. And that's because these shirts are shirts that I like to show off. That like if I'm wearing them, I want them to be able to be seen, like with a cardigan or like a denim jacket. And when they're under a sweater, they're not going to be seen. So I feel as though like that's a waste of a wear. So I didn't wear them. And I didn't realize I felt that way about those until I tracked this. So there's 11 t-shirts and 3 are unworn. The next category are what I call nicer sweaters. These are all pullovers as well, but the difference between these sweaters and the ones before are these are sweaters that I would wear to school or a date. The other ones are like strictly casual. A couple of examples of these would be, if you watched my styling video, clothing on the chopping block, would be like that white balloon sleeve sweater. There's also one in here that I would absolutely not qualify as a nicer sweater. I made my list and then found this later. It's my current university's sweater. This had such, I was a bit surprised with the wears on here. The most worn thing was 3 times. And there are 11 sweaters in here. 4 went completely unworn. Everything else was worn literally once or twice. Some of these shirts in here were, as I said, part of that clothing on the chopping block challenge, and I have since decluttered a few. That chenille sweater, the pink turtleneck, I have also decluttered. And then there's a few that I wore like in December and November. There's this really bright red J. Crew sweater. I wore that to Christmas. And then this yellow Frank and Oak kind of like higher turtleneck. And that one, I think I conceive of it more as a fall sweater because it's like this mustardy color. And I also have this huge bulky thermal sweater. It's an H&M. It's like super heavy and oversized, and that's the kind of sweater that I would wear on the coldest days. And I found that this year our winter wasn't as cold as last year. Last year there were so many days where it was colder than -20, and there was much less of those kinds of days this year. And on the coldest days I wasn't really going out, So I didn't have a huge need for this sweater this year, but this is one that actually serves a really important purpose in my collection or in my sweater wearing uniform. And this is a sweater that is not casual. I would potentially wear it on a date, but it's kind of like in a limbo. And I have worn it to school almost like out of necessity. So it is in this place, even though it doesn't quite fit squarely anywhere. I was really like, after looking at these numbers, that I have 11 and I haven't worn 4, and then everything else is just like 1 or 2 wears, really demonstrates that I need more attention on this section and that there's potentially more here that I might need to declutter. Looking at my list again, there is this white Aritzia shirt. It has a lot of like holes in it, not big holes. It's like a loose weaving, and it's a weird material. It's, I want to say, almost like cold. It's not knitted. It's hard to explain, but that one is absolutely not a winter sweater. It's a like spring sweater, maybe like a fall sweater, and it's white. It is super beautiful, and it's also like a nicer sweater. So it does have a pretty weird place in my collection, but the point I'm trying to make is that I do really enjoy it and I think it's beautiful, but it's not a winter piece. So that one does need to be removed. But I thought like up until the bitter end that I was gonna wear this, and I didn't. So that is, you know, a removal. And then I think that yellow Franken Oak sweater might also potentially be a removal. I might have to wear it. And then there's maybe 1 or 2 others that I might need to declutter. And there's a few that I have since. So I think that this part of the collection does need to shrink a bit. Okay, the next section is what I call pajamas as day wear. And please just hold on with me for a second. I'm not talking about like traditional pajamas. I'm talking about sweaters and t-shirts that function as like the comfiest of comfy loungewear. The kind of stuff you've had for years that are your favorite. I have an example right here. I was wearing it this morning. It's this guy right here. It's super oversized, and I've had this for many years. I think I bought this at an athletic sale at my university. So I've had this since I got it in my first year. So I've had this since 2012, I think. Anyways, I also have some old university sweaters from where I did my undergrad, and those are just as old. And I also have a t-shirt in there from high school. These are like the super comfies. The comfies that I do wear to bed sometimes, honestly. And so they have this limbo between like a pajama and a loungewear piece. Not quite like, I know the line is so fine, but it makes sense in my head. And some of these things, like I have these super fleecy like leggings. I have one with snowman on it. Those are purely to sleep in, except like when I'm super, super, super lazy and I don't get out of bed and like watch Netflix all day. I think I wore those once. Okay, twice. And then I also have like the super, I have those same pair in a black one. And those are like when it's the coldest of the cold days and like nothing is gonna keep you warm. But they're black, so they go with everything. Yeah, so it's this like limbo kind of wardrobe area. So I have 12 of these pieces, 5 t-shirts, 3 pants, and 4 sweaters. There's only one thing that went unworn, which is a tank top, which makes sense because it's a tank top. So I think I just need to remove it when it comes like winter, yeah, fall and winter, and then like it's okay to bring it back for spring and summer. So like that Canada sweater I wore 6 times. I have a gray sweater and then this like maroony sweater, ready sweater. I wore that 6 times, the gray one 3 times. And then I have this Alaska t-shirt my parents got when they went to Alaska. I wore that 7 times. And then like this Franken Oak black cropped sweater, cropped t-shirt. I actually wear that one like as a t-shirt really often. Like that one becomes more of like a casual than like a pajama in like the spring and summer because it's really cute. But it has a hole in it. So I generally, like in the winter, to keep getting use out of it, I wear it as that middling place of like pajama and casual wear. Yeah, so there's 12 items in here and only one is unworn. Okay, so the next section are things in my closet, and I just have this general tops in my closet. I have 20, and a couple of things are crossed out on my list. This H&M cream top and then this orange bell sleeve. Both of those are not, in my opinion, like winter pieces. Well, the cream top maybe, but I just wasn't getting wear out of it. So I just, like, I saw it and I was like, you know, I'm not loving this right now. So if I just take it out, maybe I can come back to it later. Maybe it can be a spring piece because I think of the color. And then this bell sleeve top, I completely missed it when I was doing my like closet turnover, and I took that out really, really quickly. The color and then the warmth is not quite there to have for the winter. So both of those aren't included in my total, but they were in there initially and they're crossed out. So I have 20 tops. I have 11 unworn, and the most worn thing, there's 3. A black mock neck, a gray sweater. I think it was in the very first video I ever filmed. And then the block striped sweater. Actually, that one isn't here. Those I wore 2 times each. Highest wears. 11 things went unworn. And I think like when I'm looking at it, there's a couple of things that I'm noticing that don't belong in here. Like there's a lot. There's a black Peter Pan collar t-shirt, a gray lightweight like long sleeve shirt with pearls. That one generally has to be worn on its own because it has all these pearls on the on the outside of the shirt. I think I also wore that one in a video, and so I don't really feel comfortable layering that one unless it's under a jacket. And then I have some other lightweight tops, some other ones from Old Navy that just don't belong in here for winter. Like there's at least 6 that should be removed, but I never did. Yeah, there's a Frank and Oak Rest one. How many is that? That's at least 3 at this point. And there's more, 4. There's more in here that I know don't belong in here that are spring and summer pieces. That's why a lot of these went unworn. So there does need to be some attention paid in the spring. 11 is it's just too high to be unworn. And then everything else is such a low wear count. And these are the shirts that I like to wear most in videos. And I did wear a lot of these ones that are unworn in videos, because to me they look a little nicer than many of my like big sweaters. Those are just comfy. So when I look at the wears from my other things, when I have a full like inventory of clothing, the things that I'm going for are the sweaters, like 90% of the time. Those are the things I go for first, unless I'm, you know, going out and teaching or going on a date. But I do those things so few and far between that I think I just have too many pieces. And so the next section in here is blazers. I didn't wear any of them. I sometimes will wear, I don't know what to call it. I call it rust here, but that's not quite the color. It's this like pukey, browny, yellowy kind of color. I do really love that. And it's actually a super casual blazer, but that's the only one that I would have theoretically worn in this time. I do have this check blazer that I really love, and I wore it several times in the fall. Well, a handful, at least 3, I think. I really love that, but that's such a fall blazer. Then the other one is just, it's too upscale, if you will, to wear every day. It's like strictly a conference blazer, and I haven't gone to any conferences. This category is fine to just have it as it is. Those blazers are just always gonna hang in my like office wear section, you know, like the kinds of nice things, like truly nice things you'd wear to a conference or to the office. Yeah, those are fun. I didn't have those wears because I think they're more of a fall piece, but I want them in my wardrobe all year round. Okay, skirts and dresses, I have 6. I wore none. There's definitely at least a couple of things that I think could go, at least one. And if I do another spring shopping blog video, I would have to revisit this section because I really like skirts and dresses, but I don't wear them enough to justify them. To me, they're like such a fantasy self item that like I should wear them and like, you know, be flirty and cute, but I don't really wear them. and I need to like accept that and take ownership of that. And I think there needs to be some changes there as well. Okay, the next section are the open sweaters, cardigans section. There's 13. Again, everything has such a low count. The highest would be the Gap. It's a white kind of bubble cardigan. I wore it in the chopping block video, and I also wore it in my self-care video, and then the tan cardigan that I wore in my capsule video. And I actually have that tan one in a couple of colors, a gray, a black, and the tan. Those are actually my most worn cardigans in the summer. I actually wore these, I wore those a ton last year, especially the gray one, as like the sweater that I bring out like when I'm going somewhere. And they're also cropped, so they look good with like shorts or like t-shirts. And I'm also like really short, I'm 5'2", so they hit me at like the waist, like the belly button area. Like they go with shorter jackets, and they, I don't know, I like a cropped sweater more than I thought that I did. And then the cardigans, I have so many, and there might need to be some decluttering there. I did actually wear the sorry, there's actually another one on here, this tan long, it's a long cardigan. It's tan is maybe the wrong word. It's in this nice like kind of like cognac-y color. I really like that one. It's long. And then there's a couple others that are meant to be in that nature, like heavier ones to wear in the winter. But I think what I have realized is that I don't need a lot of those because I don't wear a lot of t-shirts like on their own. I only really wear t-shirts as layering. And so if I have a t-shirt underneath one of these sweaters, I'm not going to be warm enough. Really, the types that I can wear with sweaters, I don't have a ton of lighter weight. Yeah, so there's 13 sweaters and I did not wear 7. Everything else just has such a low count. The last category is what I have called as extras. So things that were never in here, but I had pulled out for another reason, for one reason or another. The first are these Lululemon leggings, and those were strictly in my athletic wear drawer. But as it got warmer, I found myself really wanting to wear them, and like they're so buttery soft. So I did wear those 3 times, and I counted them as part of my wears, and not as athletic for those when I pulled them out. I also wore my maroon pants one day, and I really liked them, and I, considered them as part of my winter wardrobe now, or like part of my wardrobe, because after I had that chopping block style challenge, I realized, yes, I do like them. I want to keep them. I did wear those once. And then I have these black, they're called the dressy sweatpants. They're from Encircled. And I wore those once. And then I wore this black dress from Aritzia. I can't remember what brand it is. It's either Wilfred. I think it might be Wilfred. I wore it once. And that is like a nice dress. That's a dress that's part of like my occasion wear kind of capsule thing that I have going on. But I did wear that, so it counted that as a wear. So altogether, I have 105 clothing items that I consider as part of my winter wardrobe. I also counted my extras because even though 1 or 2 are from like other kinds of capsules, I did wear them. They are available to me to wear in the winter, so I counted them. Yeah, so 105 clothing items. It's way more than I thought. I didn't realize this is how much I have. My numbers tell me exactly what I wear and what I love. I think that this will make it easier to declutter, but I think one of the biggest holdbacks for why I'm not wearing clothes as much as I should are that things are mis-seasoned. I would say at least 20% of my wardrobe is mis-seasoned at the moment. And I didn't know that number was so high. I would see something like, oh, this is a sweater. Let me just pull it out. Like, let me just wear it. Like, not wear it, but let me just put it in my drawer and, put it in the wintertime. But then when I'm shuffling through my sweaters, oh, which one should I wear? I keep passing it and passing it and passing it because it's not warm enough. And then I feel as though like I've seen it 1,000 times, or like maybe I've worn it more than I actually have because I'm seeing it all the time, when things should be removed. I need to do a better job of that for spring, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna show you soon a flip over of my wardrobe and moving things around for springtime. So I will show you that then. The total items that were worn in my collection were 67, and the total number of unworn items were 38. So the unworn represents about 36 of my total, like 36%, and then the worn represents 64%. There's often thrown around statistic that people wear 20% of their clothing and 80% goes unworn. I'm doing better than that. I have 65% that I'm wearing and 35% unworn. 35% is still too high. I want it at 100% ideally. So I have 35% to go. And if you chalk up 20% to seasonality, and hypothetically, let's just say that. So that would bring up my wear to 85%. That's still 15% that's unworn, which means I need to do a better job curating my clothes. And ultimately that means letting things go. And at the moment, I'm not gonna go into decluttering. There's a few things that I've already, put up and I've already decluttered. And I want to go through spring doing the same thing and the same thing for summer. And I really want this year to be about learning about my style and learning about what I like. And I don't want to put the pressure on myself to make decisions to declutter and force myself to declutter, especially if I'm not ready for that. Because right now we're also in a moment of everybody's at home. I'm at home more than I would be. Like, I'm not even going to school or meetings. My partner and I aren't going out on dates. So even those kinds of clothing that I might have more wears out of, I know that I'm not because of this particular moment that we're in. And it's going to continue for the next little while. So I don't know how much truth is going to be put into exactly what I'm wearing. Because I know that, like, for the entire month of March, I think I went to school twice, and I should have gone by March 31st 5 times just to school alone. The wears are a bit skewed, and I know that. So I don't want to be too hard on myself for that. But I also recognize that's not the only reason. An extra 5 wears wouldn't be put onto one thing and be spread out across a few things. And I do know I do need to be better about this, but I want to learn. I want to keep learning throughout this year to like hone in on my style and learn what that means. And while I didn't go in and try everything on for you, talking through these numbers is still very, very helpful. And I've learned a lot through this challenge, and I'm gonna repeat it in April. So as soon as I do my closet flip, which should happen this weekend, then I'll start counting my wears for spring. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was entertainment. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it provides some entertainment for you and also perhaps some food for thought. I hope that you enjoyed this video. At the very least, I hope it was entertaining for you to watch, but I also hope it was informative, and I hope to inspire you to do the same thing with your clothing. If you have a lot and you're unsure of what to do with everything, because that's exactly where I was. And this year is all about discovery. If you are somebody who already has a fabulous capsule wardrobe, let me know your secrets, because I'm headed in that direction, just, at my own pace. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again back here soon. Bye.